Warning, you are about to enter the BGP suite. No thongs, no boy shorts, no thigh highs, no commandos are permissible. BGP, big girl panties only. So pull up to woman up. And no, please don't leave with your panties in a bunch.
Hello, and welcome to BGP. I have some questions, but before we get started, I have a couple of stats that I want to share with you. And this is about dating outside of your race or interracial marriage. The highest states where this occurs is Hawaii, Nevada, and California.
Yes, of course.
Of course, right? And then the lowest, where you don't see a lot of this going on,
Wyoming. No.
Mississippi. Wow, right? North Carolina, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and Lafayette, Louisiana, and the big one, Alabama, Birmingham, Alabama.
South.
Right? So it makes sense. What I have been seeing a lot lately is a lot of backlash. And I can speak on this a little bit because I have experienced it. I have dated outside of my race. I have been in a relationship for a very lengthy time with someone that was other than black. But what I want to know from you ladies, or why does it appear that a lot of black guys, once they reach a certain income bracket or they reach a certain pedestal in their life, does it appear that they no longer deal with women from their race? Do you see that to be an issue?
Oh, I think it's more of they're comfortable with utilizing their options once they get to a certain status. I noticed that, like, once we hit college and beyond, they have more opportunities that are being presented with options or women of other ethnicities as opposed to how black women are, right? And so I think that's why a lot of them take the opportunities. Plus, from what I've been told by others that do it on that status level, it's a level, it's considered status. Women, once they get, the women that they really prefer or the women that are of no color, they are considered a level of status. They've hit that quote unquote elite status now. And so that trophy looks good on their arm for the ones that do it. That's what I've been told. So I think they're just comfortable expanding their options for the ones that do. So yeah, that's my thought.
And Mo, how about you?
I think for the majority of black men that marry and date, statistically it says about 85% of those men stay within their race. Some people date out because they are in diverse environments, workplaces, like Neisha says, school or whatever. Some date because that's what they want to do. That's my answer.
Yeah.
Do you think there's something lost in when you start dating outside of your race? Do you think you miss something as far as dealing with, Neisha, if you were with a Caucasian man, a white man, do you think that you miss out on something because you decide to go there?
Miss out on, I don't understand.
Is there something that you lack or miss out on in entertaining a white guy in a relationship?
I don't know. I've never dated a white guy before, so I don't know. I think if I were to entertain a white guy, I think that it would be because I want to. It would be because I'm attracted to said individual. It would be because we have that mutual I don't know, compatibility to try it out. But I don't think it would be because I'm missing something from the brothers. Like I don't think that would be my reason. It would just be because I want to, if that were the case. But that would probably be for me. Like,
is it a complete no for you to ever deal with somebody outside of your race?
I've dated outside of my race, just never white. Yeah, I've dated Samoan, I've dated Hawaiian, I've dated Latino. You know, I've dated that, but I've never dated white. So, and they call it now, people of color. I've stayed in the people of color lane.
Okay, yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
What about you, Mo?
The question was,
do you think you missed something? If you are to, say you get into a committed relationship with a white guy, and now that you know that you've been with many black men, do you think there's something that you miss?
I want to ask your question. I want to answer your question, but why am I dating outside of my race? Am I dating because all black men suck?
Right.
That's variety. I want to have that experience, or I think that a person outside of my race will marry me quicker. I need to know why we're doing this. We're just disgusted with white men. I mean, with black men, we've had bad experiences with them, and we say never again, and I'm going to go out here.
That's basically what I'm asking.
What
So
asking.
Are you missing? Yeah. The question basically is, well, maybe I should have said, is it a deal breaker for you altogether for nobody outside of your race?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I have never, will never, and will die never.
Not even consider it.
Outside of my race. Now, I would be lying if I said, if I was of another race, there are some men that are Hispanic, Iranian, white, that are attractive. What's funny to me about it is that sometimes the men of other races that we think are attractive are not attractive to the women of their own race. So for me, it's a deal breaker. I would never date outside of my race. I think that black men are the most beautiful men on the planet. I don't give a damn. And I've said it on the post, how much fighting we got to do. I'm going to love on a black man until I leave this earth. So, yeah, it's definitely a deal breaker. And for me, before you go to your next question, because I've dated a man from Belize, dating a black man that's African, that's Jamaican, that's from the Bahamas, that's from Nigeria.
Is that still your race?
They're black. They're Africans. Yes, that's my race.
Right.
It's still a challenge because of the language barriers, the cultural barriers, their background, their upbringing. So that's still a challenge. So for me, I wouldn't have nothing in common with somebody outside of my race unless it was small talk.
Yeah. Well, what about, okay, for instance, this is a real scenario. If are you offended when you meet a white guy, or even you see white girls that act black?
Offended, no. Confused a little bit, because I've seen some women, and not just white, but women of other cultures or other ethnicities that quote unquote try to talk black. And I hate hearing that, because I'm just like, now, if you were around your parents, you wouldn't speak that way. Like, be yourself. Be true to who you are. Because I've seen some in the industry talk, quote unquote, black, right, supposedly. And then once they get to that next level, all of a sudden, they take it off. And they be who they really were from the beginning. Miley Cyrus, right? You start to, you see that. So for that, to me, I feel like it's like, they try to profit or benefit off of acting a certain way. That's offensive to me, as opposed to them just like me walking down the street and somebody saying But when I see you trying to gain profit off of it, then that's when I tend to be offended or have a problem.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to have to piggyback off of that. Yes, like Neisha said, there are some white girls out here that they're trying to get into a certain marketplace. And so they will act, that like they're black. But there are some people that were raised around black people.
I was just going to say
all their lives. So they pick up that vernacular. That's like you know, you come from a state that they talk proper, and then you go to Alabama or
Yes.
Tennessee and start talking like them, and you
They
come
looking
back
at you
home and
like,
they're like,
yeah,
you know,
what's
what's wrong with you? You know, because some people
Exactly.
think that I'm from the country, you know,
Yeah.
and I'm born and raised in California. So, yeah, when you are profiting off of it, yeah, I'm pissed off.
Yeah, I know a young lady who she was in foster care at an early age and then was adopted by a black family. And when you talk to her, especially if you talk to her over the phone, you swear you're talking to a black person. And then when she's in your presence, but she has had so much backlash and so many problems for being who she is, the only thing that she knows. She doesn't know her white family. All she knows is her black aunties, uncles, her black mama and daddy, and she gets such a hard time. And I know a guy, same situation. He only likes black women. He grew up around black people all his life, and now that's his thing. So sometimes I think people stay in situations get in those situations because they maybe want to try. You know how like you have your type, like tall, dark, and handsome, or maybe tall, dark, and handsome didn't work for the first 5-10 years of you being in relationships, so you kind of try something new. And not necessarily have to go outside of your race, but all of a sudden this person that's really nice to you, he's being cool to you, he gives you what you need. Do you not entertain that at all just because he's not black?
Absolutely.
Okay.
and here's my thing. There was a time when our ancestors could not say no, and they were sexually violated.
Exactly.
There was a time when interracial dating was
illegal. Yeah.
You know, I think there's a push right now to blur the lines. You've seen Kamala Harris and her white husband. You're seeing Katani, what's her name? Brown and her white husband. You also have a man by the name of, who y'all know I be forgetting. His name is Ralph Richard Banks.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
And he said why more black women should consider marrying white men, although he has a black woman. I think it's a disgrace for a black man to suggest, even though he's black, that black women should date white men. I don't like the propaganda that's being pushed. I don't like the commercials where it's a black woman and a other race man on all the commercials. When you blur the lines, you know, nobody has a stance because I'm white and I'm black. Where do I fit in? So, yeah, I can't do it.
Yeah. And this is a bit off topic, but it kind of goes with it a little bit. I was sitting in the car with my nephew this weekend, and he said to me, oh, my God, we're going through the drive-thru, and he hears this girl talking on the intercom of the drive-thru, and he says, oh, my God, she's ratchet. She is so ratchet. He's 10 years old. She's so ratchet. And I was like, what? He said, I know she dark-skinned. I was like, wait a minute. I had to get him together real quick because I'm wondering what is happening with our kids that they think. He said all the girls in his school that are dark skinned are ratchet. All the light skinned ones are the ones that he liked because they don't act like that. I said, baby, let me tell you, I know a whole bunch of light skinned and ratchet chicks. So, you know, I don't know I don't know. I wanted to share that with you guys because I don't know if I handled it correctly in talking to him about it, but it just caught me way off guard. If you had your nephew tell you something like that, what would you do? You did? Do they really think that?
I think it's social programming, subliminally, that is being pushed, that light is right, dark is evil, dark is ghetto, dark is unattractive, dark is not marriage material, dark is low class. Hence why you see when certain celebs get to a certain level, they discard the one that's been with them from day one, who happens to be dark, and they get with either a non-black woman or a woman that damn near looks white, right? Unfortunately, I think that what we see on television, or as they call it, television, what we see on television, videos, movies, etc., it indicates that that's the direction that they should go. So when they hit school and face that peer pressure from their friends that's like, you like that? You like her? Don't like, that's ghetto. That's ratchet. That's, it's common. Like I had a discussion with my nephew because he said that he's not attracted to dark-skinned girls. And he's 14. And I was like, what do you mean? You come from a family of, all flavors. Like, what do you mean? And he was like, well, Auntie, I can deal with somebody like you, but not somebody darker like me. And I'm like, well, what's wrong with that? Like, you're beautiful. Right. Why wouldn't you? Like, why not, And he's just like, no, they're ghetto. And I don't like ghetto girls. And it's sad because I think that they're being programmed to believe that the darker that you are, you're perceived as ghetto until they hear somebody speak or they see how they move. And not all beautiful light-skinned sisters are, preppy and proper and prim. And not all dark-skinned women are ghetto and ratchet. Yeah. Like, there's a blend of everything in our community. But if you're only seeing a certain view or a certain lens, I see why they're starting to think that this is how it is when you see someone that looks a certain way. So. Exactly. Sad, unfortunately.
Very sad, because from the intercom till we got to pick the food up, we talked. I mean, like, we just, I went in, and sure enough, he said, see, I told you, Auntie. She was a dark-skinned girl, but that just really hurt my heart.
I think we have to teach our children, both young boys and young girls, that we are the most stereotyped people on the planet, and that they should not be so quick to judge or stereotype or label a whole race for one person's behavior. I think that's important for us to do that.
Yeah. So in closing, I know that took us a little bit of time.
I got a question.
I'm trying to get out of this. I thought we only had 5 more minutes.
Here's my question.
Okay.
So you've dealt with black men all your lives, and you've had some unsuccessful relationships, and then you go and date outside of your race, and those relationships turn out unsuccessful. What do you learn as a woman, and what do you learn about men?
I think you learn that it's not all about the man sometimes. Sometimes it's some work that you need to do on you, on self, right? I think that changing races does not necessarily mean you're going to get a different outcome, because the infidelity can go from black, white, brown, green, red, and yellow. For me, it was a huge lesson learned, because I picked safe. Then I was picking safe because I had already been through some bad situations, and now here I was dealing with that situation. But I think overall, I wouldn't do it again.
When you say you chose safe, are you saying that
just from
the danger was from? And I'm asking you a question.
Yeah.
The danger came from the black men, so you figured you'd be safer with the white men, or the white men appear to be safer?
No. What I meant was, and whether he had been a white boy or another black dude, that I sized him up already and knew that if we got into any type of altercation, physical altercation, safe, meaning I could whoop his ass if necessary. I know I'm just being 100, because I had already been in physical relationships that were physically abusive. That, yes, I fought back, but the outcome wasn't good. But I was picking, I think subconsciously, in a way that I could handle him in the event that he put his hands on me.
So having that experience, and let's not make it personal, do you think that black women actually think that when they go outside of their race that they are going to be safer, or they are going to be loved better? They're not going to be lied and cheated on and manipulated?
I believe some women do think that. Okay. I really do. I do. Yeah.
Because here's my thing. If I can't figure out the formula to be able to coexist, co-mingle, love on somebody that looks like me, I was born a specific race. If I can't master that with the man that has the same skin tone as I have, I can't foresee me mastering it with somebody else from a different culture, from a different background, from a different race, upbringing, morals, values, and principles. I just can't see it.
Yeah, I think, but like you were just mentioning earlier about even a Belizean or African, still different cultures. You know, we grew up in LA, so of course we have a way different background than somebody coming from Belize or Africa or, and it's sad because sometimes even within our race, we stereotype because we say, oh, you know, I don't mess with no Jamaicans, I don't mess with no Africans, you know,
crazy.
that kind of thing. Exactly.
My mouth too bad.
Ooh, they stalking. They
want you to stay in the house.
Exactly. So even within our own culture, we do that.
Or they say that about us. I don't date a Black American woman. Don't deal with Black American men. Don't date them. They're garbage. They're trash. They have no culture. They're classless. They don't know how to listen or communicate. I hear that from a lot of our brothers of the diaspora. I hear that a lot from them as to when they're doing their comparisons from them having quote-unquote culture to us not having quote-unquote culture. We do stereotype a lot. For me, I would say that if you are entertaining the thought of dating someone who happens to not share the same skin tone or culture, don't do it for the wrong reasons. Don't do it solely because you think that it's better or you have a better advantage over, you know, someone, you know, within the community. Because if that's your whole reasoning, then you're going at it wrong, and more than likely you're going to get the same result that you got when you're dealing with your own. But I mean, if you're doing it because you're just, I don't know, expanding your options, then do what you have to do, but just do it safely. But understand that there's assholes in every single race. Every race. That does not mean everyone in a race is assholes, but there's some good seeds and bad seeds in every single race, and it's up to you to do the work on yourself before you even jump into that kind of a situation, so that you can make sure that you're ready for it, whatever the case may be.
Exactly.
I just know for us, we all come from Carson, Long Beach, and I'm gonna say for me and maybe for you too, and possibly for you, that when we went to school, we had all different races.
Yes,
you know, we had Hispanics, we had Samoans, we had Filipino, we had. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yes.
White people, you
I was
know,
in a relationship.
and so, but everybody seemed to intermingle, but they stayed within their race. It wasn't until I moved. My mother and father got divorced when I was 16, and when my father moved to Riverside, and I had never seen an interracial couple until I got to Riverside. And I'm hitting corners and I'm walking in the stores and a white man with a Hispanic woman, a black man with a Hispanic woman, a black man with a white woman, and you looking at them and they looking at you like, and to the point where they looked kind of embarrassed that they had got busted. I think that they thought that if they moved further out, nobody could find them. But you didn't see that in Compton. You didn't see that in Carson. You didn't see that in Watts. You didn't see that in Inglewood and Longview. You didn't really see that as a community. You might, when you went out to a venue, you really didn't recognize this. My thing is this. I don't like the push of divestment. I think there's a better way. I think we are all we got. I think we have to learn how to love on each other and cooperate with each other. And relationships is not as hard as we want them to be. I think we need to love the people that love us instead of putting all these specifics. He's too dark, he's too tall, he's too light, blah, blah, blah. I think we're very petty in how we choose our partners.
Yeah.
I think about, and I need you guys to look up Sarah Bartman and how she was sexualized by white people. She was the big for years because of her breasts and her hips and her buttocks, and how she died from STD. And I think that I would be afraid to get close to anybody outside of my race because I know that a lot of ethnic groups, they think of us as fetishes. You know, they think we're loose. They think we're easy. They think we're overly sexual. And I could not take that person seriously. I would want to know what the hell you want me for. What do you want to do with me? I could not be comfortable in that. And it's just my observation that most people that date outside of their race, those are the people that their race didn't want.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Okay.
A lot of times, yeah. Mm-hmm. That's why I don't have a problem with them dating out. Because if your race is saying that you're not, you're not, quote unquote, the sexual market value, since that's the new term that I'm hearing too, why should I get mad at someone that's expanding their options and have a better chance of possibly succeeding at what it is they want in life?
But the whole thing about that is, and then once they try to come back on the other side, then you have another type of stigma. Nobody wants you. Nobody wants to take you seriously. They might sleep with you, but they might not want to wife you because you went outside of your race. Right. You know, so it's a catch-22 to both of it.
And I don't think everybody that ends up in an interracial relationship sets out for that. Yeah. I think sometimes it just happens. Like you end up, they're your friend. Next thing you know, you guys are doing a lot of stuff together as friends. That friendship turns into a romantic thing, and then before you know it, that person for the most part fulfills the majority of your needs. Yeah. And it just works, and you make it work. But I do know that some people do just set out, hey, I don't fuck these this type of person. I'm only looking for that. So I don't think it's always that people that end up with outside of their race set out to do that. I think sometimes it just happens. It ends up being a thing that just happens.
One more thing that I also see is that what you don't like about a black man over here, you're accepting of what it is of a race of other race of men. Mm-hmm. You know, he's dusty, he's broke, he's this, he's that. But you get over here and get with this
dusty white,
dusty white boy, dusty, you know, Hispanic man. So it's a double standard. I think, like somebody said earlier, even for men, it's a social thing. They think they've made it. Yeah. You know, but for women, they think they got something better. The look of it might look better for them. Yeah. Yeah.
In my own experience, I know the looks I got was, I get them side eyes real quick, like, especially from dudes. And the disrespect. They would not respect that situation at all. Try to holler right there while you sitting right there. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot of, you got to have some tough skin also to do it, because it's frowned upon a lot. Mm. Yeah.
I work for a very diverse company. I talk to men of all different races. I can talk to you. I can have the conversation. Yeah. We can hang out for a minute. Lip to lip, skin to skin. Nah. And to give you
not lip to lip.
Okay. And not much lip.
Nah. Even to think about bringing a biracial baby into the world with all the problems that would exist for them, I couldn't do it. And I also think about my ancestors. I think it's a spit on my ancestors to date outside. And that's just my belief, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, then. In closing, do you have anything else that you'd like to add to that, Neisha?
I think this was a good topic. I think it's interesting. I think, like I said earlier, we have to work on not stereotyping each other within our community. We do have a large community if we open the lens and realize that there's a huge area of diaspora of men and women that are available. But before we even can get to that, we have to get through that hoop of dealing with ignoring the colorism, ignoring the stereotypes, ignoring the physical attributes that automatically disqualifies a person. We have to get through that so that we can be better, both black men and women. And until we get to that point, we probably are going to continue to see an increase in interracial dating. You know, I don't frown my nose on it. I used to a long time ago, but I don't anymore, because if we're expanding, then it just happens. If it's for the right reasons, meaning you found somebody compatible, you guys seem to be on the same page, you both, share each other's values, morals, whatever the case may be, I'm not mad at you. I'm not. My true preference would be, a black man. But who knows? If my you know, soulmate just happen to be tall, dark, and
What?
not. Oh no, it won't be that. God won't do that to me.
No.
But non-black. You know, I'm not gonna shut that door. At least let me take that back, because I'm not racist by no means, or as they say, I'm not. I don't discriminate. Like, I'm not trying to discriminate, but I have yet to meet a Caucasian man that made me consider even taking a test drive down that lane.
Right.
That's never happened for me. I just think that do what makes you happy. You know, you can't please everybody. You can't live this world for other people. You have to do what's right for you. And if it just happens to be that your counterpart happens to be of another ethnicity, and you're happy, you're content, the things that you want in a mate, this person stands up and represent, I'm not mad at you. That would be my final thought.
Very good.
Yeah.
My final thought is black is where it's at. I love black men. I would say go to another state, go to another country. Be diligent in your search for a black man. There's no better love than black love. I'm going to fight with your brothers to the end. That's all I got.
Yeah. I agree. This is definitely a good topic to have. I think going forward, things will look different as far as what I choose for a mate. Of course, they have to satisfy every ounce of what I need, because I'm not settling ever again, especially on some dumb stuff before, because I was just in an unhealthy place. But I think love is love.
No, it's not.
Love is love.
No, it's not.
It sounds good, though, huh?
Yeah, it does.
I think, though, I have gotten a real new appreciation for my black men. I really do. I love them. I was missing. Anyway, please remember to tune in to BGP. Comment, like, hit that notification bell, and definitely make some comments. If you have any suggestions for topics, let us know. That's it. Thank you.
Bye.